Good night, y'all. How you doing? Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. We are going to start that live stream very shortly. Bear with us just 1 second. We'll get rolling. Happy Sunday night. Captain Dylan Hubbard here from Hubbard's Marina, getting ready to start up our live fishing conversation Q&A that we do here every Sunday night on the Hubbard's Marina YouTube and Facebook. If you are not watching live, thank you for tuning in. If you are watching live, make sure you comment your questions. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this, make sure you click like on the post and share with your friends. Again, comment your questions. We're going to get rolling here in just 1 minute. Again, guys, we're going to start up in just a few moments. Give me a second here to get set up. Appreciate your patience. Again, guys, we're going to start up in just a few moments. Give me a second here to get set up. Appreciate your patience. Again, guys, we're going to get rolling here in just a few minutes. Same as always, comment your questions, click like if you enjoy the feed, and make sure you share with your friends. We'll be rolling here in just a second. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday night. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are ready for the live fishing seminar, Q&A, question, fishing conversation, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get rolling here now and talk a little bit about some nearshore and offshore fishing and whatever you guys want to talk about. So we're going to dial in. The lighting obviously isn't the best right now, and obviously I'm missing my backdrop, but it's in the mail. So bear with that this week. But the audio should be good, video should be good. Let me know in the comments how it sounds and how it looks. Hopefully we won't run into any choppiness or any interruptions tonight. Make sure you comment your questions. Let's see if we have any questions to get us rolling. Doesn't look like we have any questions quite yet. Again, guys, don't forget we have our Bass Pro Shop seminar on Saturday, July 28th at 2 p.m. If you want to win a free fishing trip, we're going to be giving away a free 5-hour half day and a free 10-hour all day for 2 people at that event at Bass Pro Shops this coming Saturday, July 28th at 2 p.m. I'm going to switch over here again to our website, and we're going to talk a little bit for a minute about what we've been catching here at Hubbard's Marina. So we went over our 39-hour trip video the other day. We've been seeing a lot of these red groupers. The wahoo bite has been really good lately. I've been seeing a lot of wahoo on the trollers. The wahoo love Shimano Bonita. The Marauder lures, the big, large trolling skirts. They're a very fast-moving fish, so the fast trolling lures work really well for the wahoo. This guy right here is Hayden Horn, local Apollo Beach resident. Got that big old wahoo on a trolling skirt on our 39-hour trip. We've been seeing a lot of nice gags. Remember, gag grouper season is open all the way through the end of the year. So we have gags open until December 31st. So a lot of opportunity for you to still get plenty of gag grouper. We also have amberjack. Amberjack are going to be open to the end of the year. We catch a lot of big jacks for sure. So fishing's been good so far this year. Our red snapper season is over, but we got a lot of nice red snapper, as you can see. From some of the photos from our past trips, we've been tearing up the red snapper. Big mangroves are biting well. Really, this whole month we've been seeing a lot of good fish. These big muttons from the beginning of July were super special, and some big gag grouper as well. These big amberjack, though, this is what I wanted to talk about right here, is amberjack fishing is here. It's going to be amberjack time, so we're excited. We're going to be catching lots of big amberjack with amberjack season opening up August 1st. So there's a lot of opportunities to get some big jacks coming up. Our 39-hour trip is a great option for amberjack. On the 39-hour trip, we catch lots of big jacks, and you get that 2-day bag limit, so you're able to keep twice as many. And then also our 12-hour extreme is a great option to get some amberjack as well. So you have a lot of options on the 12-hour extreme and the 39-hour trip. And the 44 hours are a great way to get amberjack. We get a lot of big amberjack when they're open on our 63-hour. So the August 63-hour trip will be an awesome opportunity for some big jacks. You can get amberjack on a 10 or 12-hour Flying Hub 1 or Flying Hub 2 private charter. So there's a lot of options for big amberjacks. And on our coast, amberjack are great eating. A lot of people say, well, amberjack are terrible table fare, but on the central west coast of Florida, we get some really big jacks, and they're very good food quality. We don't get the worminess that you'll see in the Bahamas, the Caribbean, or on the east coast of Florida, so we're pretty blessed in that respect. But I did want to show you some things on the website. I want to play with my new toys and show off the ability here. But right live on our website, hubbardsmarina.com, you can go to fishing trips and go to fishing tips. I talk about this a lot, but I haven't been able to really showcase it, so I wanted to show you. Under the fishing tips page, the fishing tips page allows you to see our daily videos. So every morning I do those fishing updates, and that playlist will automatically post right here to our website. Our estimated fishing seasons are going to be here, which I didn't ever update the red snapper estimated season, so ignore that one. And gray triggerfish is wrong as well. Oh man, this is embarrassing. Gray triggerfish are going to open up again August 1st, so that'll be pretty cool. And then on the fishing tips page, we'll scroll back past the embarrassing part. We have some of my fishing tips articles that I've written here about some fall fishing tips, braided line. This is a really good read. A lot of people ask me questions about braided line. Well, here's all my thoughts right there for you. Again, this is under the fishing tips page of our website. Videos on how to tie double snell rigs, some of my Bass Pro Shop seminar, a seminar I did at South Shore Anglers, a lot of the Bass Pro Shop seminars, one of my hogfish tips and tricks video that I did with Salt Strong, how weather affects fishing, a mangrove snapper fishing tips video. So there's a lot of information here on the fishing tips page. Also, from Hubbard's Marina's main website, you can go to the weather links page. I showed this off before, but I am making some changes to it, so it's going to get even better. But these are all the different items that I use to check the weather. And then I can always go ahead and pull up our webcams. Doesn't look like anybody's on the dock. Is that somebody on the dock down there? Oh my gosh. Oh, we're not closed yet, so there's allowed to be people on the dock. But it's a great opportunity. If you don't make it down there, you can always pull up these cameras. So the Big Fish weigh-in is going to show you where we do the weigh-ins for our 39 and 44-hour trips. And it gives you an opportunity to watch those live, even if you're not in the area. And then we also have the Bay News 9. We're supposed to have the Bay News 9 camera. Lots of embarrassing stuff tonight so far. This live stream's going really well. Besides the weather links, besides the fishing tips, one thing I get a question about a lot of times is, well, when is a 63 hours scheduled, or when's your next 39-hour trip? Well, right under fishing trips is the specialty trip schedule. This bad boy has every single date for every single 12, 39, and 44 and 63-hour trip that we offer here at Hubbard's Marina, with descriptions, and we even have the 5-hour trophy shark trips listed in here. So this is a great opportunity for you. Again, under fishing trips, the specialty trip schedule. And then all our trips have plenty of the information. Like, for example, I'll click on the 5-hour half day. It's got a video here that shows you exactly what you're going to catch on the trips, as a video of what you can't bring on the boats, etc. And this is what throws me off, is I've got this video right here on the page that shows you exactly what you're going to catch, and people still come out and they say, well, I didn't get the big fish. All I caught were these small fish. Well, this video shows you these are small fish that you catch on a 5-hour half day. So it really throws me off when people say, well, I didn't know that's all I was going to catch. It's like, did you not see the big video on the page? But each one of the fish and trip pages has one of these videos that'll show you exactly up close and personal what you can expect to catch on our trips. So we got some other options on the website and some other cool things that I'll think of, and I'll show. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. Right here under, again, I'm going to take you back to the home page so you don't get lost. Under the info tab, a lot of people don't know this, but we have a free birthday trip. So if you've ever wanted to enjoy going out on your birthday and go fishing, or go dolphin watching, or go to the island, you can get a free birthday trip. So it gives you a 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day, dolphin watching, sunset, Egmont Key trip, Shell Key trip, whatever you want, you can get it for free. It just has to be your actual birthday. We also have the gallery, so you can go to our image gallery and see our Facebook and some of our reviews. We have the fishing rules and regs page where it has under the info tab is our fishing rules and regs. This is the Gulf Council National Marine Fisheries thing they have. So kind of illustrates all that information, plus links to join the FRA, the FGA, the CCA, and then also we have our facts page. This thing is huge. I spent a lot of time on this. When anybody gives me a question, when I get a question more than a few times, I always put it on here. Like, what kind of fish do I catch in your trips? What is a rod rental? What comes with the rod rental? Where do I park? What happens to the fish? What are the bait options? Can I get my fish filleted with pricing right there? Trolling questions, what we don't allow on the trips, braided line, how weather affects fishing, and more. You can buy your gift certificates here. We have all the different rentals we offer. We have all our different cruises. We have all our private charters. The private charter tab is pretty cool because it shows you all the different boats that we have. So quick tour of the website. So let's see if we got any questions now. Trent Simmons said, cut the crap, line to line or swivel for hogs. Trent, I like a line to line knot for hogfish. Probably an Albright knot is one of my favorites. Really, really fast, really easy to tie. A reverse Albright's a great option as well. FG knot, any line to line knot works really well, but definitely avoid any extra terminal tackle. So definitely no swivel when I'm fishing for hogfish, Trent. But again, on the website, like I just showed you, we have that huge Salt Strong podcast where I outline all my hogfish tips and tricks for you if you want to listen to that, Trent. What's the best way to catch a reef donkey? Rusty Kane asked. A reef donkey is another name for an amberjack. The best way to catch a big amberjack with amberjack season approaching is to use a huge live bait. The bigger, the livelier, the meaner the live bait, the bigger the jack. I generally like to use a really big pinfish or something that's going to be moving around quite a bit. One of my favorite baits for an amberjack is a spade fish or an angelfish that we catch right around the dock. Those are a really, really good bait. They look like a sheep's head, but they're shaped like an angelfish. I call them spade fish. They work very, very well for amberjack bait offshore. And you can catch those right on the dock before your trip. And then with those big live baits, I use a heavy lead, like a 12, 14, 16 ounce lead, and then about a 6 to 8, maybe even 10-foot leader, depending on how busy the trip is. If the trip's lighter, I'll use a longer leader. And then a big 10 to 12-aught hook with about 100 to 125 pound fluorocarbon leader, and a big, ugly 9-aught reel, and you just hold on tight because you're going to get taken for a ride for sure. So that's my favorite way to catch amberjack, but you can always use a vertical jig. Vertical jigs work really, really, really well for the amberjack as well. Also, Rick Schumann said, why is Mother Nature so cruel to me today? Unfortunately, Mother Nature has been a little bit cruel lately, and she's going to continue being cruel tomorrow. We had to cancel all our trips today and all our trips tomorrow, and possibly even Tuesday. We're hoping to get out Tuesday, but it still looks pretty nasty. We can talk about the weather here real quick. Again, on the Hubbard's Marina page under info or under fishing is the weather links page. I want to show you real quick the wind finder forecast for the next couple days. Does not look pretty. So Monday they're calling for 4-foot seas here. Look at those wind gusts. At 11 a.m. they're calling for a 43 knot wind or mile an hour wind gust. So that's a pretty stiff breeze. Gonna have a lot of storms blowing through the area tomorrow. And Tuesday is still going to be around 4 foot. So, and this is the inshore. This is the Egmont Channel entrance. So this is only 10 miles from shore, this forecast. Look at all that rain in the forecast for Tuesday. Monday looks dry, but I think it's going to be pretty rainy tomorrow as well. But we shall see, to say the least. So I don't know. But Yeah, Mother Nature's been cruel. Let's see here. Mike Bick said, what would be a good depth to start looking for grouper or miles out? Well, it depends on what type of grouper, Mike. We catch plenty of gag grouper, even in the bay occasionally. And as the fall approaches and the water cools down, the bay gag grouper bite will pick up. I think I saw on Tampa Bay Fishing Club today, someone caught a keeper gag grouper from the Skyway fishing pier. So you don't have to go very far to find the gags. But what I would do when I'm gag grouper fishing is I would fish a little bit deeper, 120 foot, 130 foot of water, or 150 foot really, or deeper has been really, really productive. And we've been able to find a lot of gag grouper lately in 70, 80 miles out or more. But you can catch grouper in 5 foot of water in the bay as well. It just depends on the time of year and if you know the right spot. Red grouper are out deeper, anywhere from about 140 to 150 foot of water or more right now for the red grouper, Mike. So it really just depends on what type of grouper. Scamp grouper, for example, we're catching a ton of scamp and big, huge, fat 16, 18 pound scamp. But those are all in 180 to 200 foot of water or more. So depends on the type of grouper and what you're looking for exactly. Again, guys, don't hesitate to comment your questions. Click like if you enjoy the video and share with your friends, please. Let's see what other... Oh, let's switch to YouTube here. Michael Murray asked, can you talk about AJ fishing? What trips, bait, gear, jigging, etc.? Well, Michael, we already kind of covered what trips, bait, and gear and jigging. So we pretty much answered that question already for you, Michael Murray. If you didn't hear it, you can always listen to it later. Let's see other questions we have on YouTube. How have the 12-hour night trips been doing lately? Donnie Gwynn asked. The 12-hour night trips are doing pretty well. It's a little hit and miss. Unfortunately, mangrove snapper are just such a smart, quick biting fish. You really, really got to be good to be consistent on the mangroves. Some of the more experienced anglers are doing really well on the 12-hour night snappers. Some other anglers are kind of floundering a little bit. So it really just depends on the trip. I know we had one slow one recently, but for the most part, they've been pretty active, and the advanced anglers do really, really well. Another question I got from, let's see here, Nicholas said, fish finder rig for the grouper. Definitely the fish finder rig is going to be your best bet for grouper over a knocker rig or a California rig or anything else. Drop weight fish finder rig is the primo. That's my go-to setup for sure, Nicholas. Ron Moore said, how early do you need to get to the 12-hour extreme? Well, any of our fishing trips, 12 hours or less, we ask that you arrive an hour early. So if a trip departs at 5 a.m., like the 12-hour extreme, we'd ask that you arrive at 4 a.m. So it is early, but we're there with you. We got to open the office, so it's tough, I know, but it's worth it. That 12-hour extreme is an awesome trip. It gets you out 70 to 100 miles. You get a chance to fish in the 39-hour areas, but you're home by dinner, so it's a really, really cool option. Mark Anderson said, do you guys rent left-handed reels for the deep 39-hour trip? We do not rent any type of left-handed conventional reel, unfortunately, Mark, on any of our trips. We just don't get requests for them that often, and we had one, and unfortunately, just over time with it not getting used, it's broken when we go to use it. So we do not rent left-handed reels. Myself, I'm right-handed, and when I fish with a conventional reel, I fish like this, and when I fish with a spinning reel, I fish like this. So I always tell people, if you can learn how to fish conventional like this, spinning like this, you're going to be better off. And I have a lot of left-handed friends that fish conventional like this and spinning like this, and it just makes your life a lot easier. So on a spinning reel, your left hand is the one that you use to reel. On a conventional reel, your right hand is the one you use to reel. And that's how you should learn it, because then you can use any rod anywhere and you're never going to have a problem. Let's see what other questions we have here. Nathan Heath said, any Pasco scallop reports? And sorry, Nathan, I don't go scalloping very often. I wish I could. Scalloping's a lot of fun, and hopefully there's a lot of good reports coming out of Pasco. I know Pasco County scallop season just opened for the first time in like 24 years or something crazy. So really, really cool to say the least. Let's see here what other questions we have. How's the weather outlook for the 44-hour trip? Dylan Grens asked. The 44-hour trip weather looks awesome. We're not expecting any type of bad weather to last into the weekend. The weather starts to get better Wednesday. It looks pretty decent for Thursday. Friday looks gorgeous. So the weather outlook for this weekend's 44-hour trip, primo. No worries, Dylan. So we'll go back to YouTube here and see if we got any other questions. McCallie asked on YouTube if we have time, can we talk about some Cubera snapper tactics and tackle? The Cubera snapper I've caught when I was actually targeting, I've only caught one Cubera snapper one time that I was actually targeting. I've caught a lot of Cubera snapper, but it's always been kind of accidental. You're fishing for mangrove snapper, you catch a mangrove, you're reeling it off the bottom, and bam, you get slapped by a big, huge Cubera snapper. So I've caught Cubera snapper a lot of times in the Gulf, but it's always been while I'm reeling up a mangrove snapper or some other fish up off the bottom while mangrove snapper fishing. I might add that it's always on mangrove snappers tackle, so I'm using 40-pound test. I know my cousin Garrett was using an Offshore Angler Bass Pro Shops reel with an Offshore Angler Bass Pro Shops rod, 40-pound test for mangrove snapper, and same thing, was reeling up a fish, got slapped, and reeled in a 111-pound Cubera snapper. I gotta show you. Let's see here. I think it's right here. Yeah, here it is. Bam. That is a Cubera snapper, boys and girls. That was a monster fish, and that was caught on 40-pound test by this gentleman on a Bass Pro Shops rod and reel. It was a beautiful fish. And as far as bass or Cubera snapper tactics go, you want to fish for Cubera snapper where you would catch a lot of other snapper species. We seem to catch a lot of Cubera snapper in the fall. Around August, September is where we see a lot of Cuberas, but you can catch them as early as May, and anytime through the summer you can catch those Cubera snappers. So it really just depends on your luck and the area you're fishing. But we see a lot of Cubera snapper just by happenstance when we're targeting mangroves. But my cousin Garrett does have an area where he's caught that Cubera snapper, and he caught another 90-pound Cubera snapper. But for the most part, the Cubera snapper are when you're fishing for mangroves, you're reeling up a fish, you catch one. But I did go to Costa Rica one time with the Real Animals fishing team and Cap Mike Anderson, and the captain Javier at Zancudo Lodge was able to actually say, all right, here's where the Cubera are, and I free-lined a live blue runner on the surface, and this Cubera snapper came out of the water to eat the blue runner on the surface. I will never forget that fish. I was using like 20-pound test at the mouth of Crocodile Bay with a live free-lined blue runner. It was an awesome experience. Top water Cubera snapper fishing. I can say with confidence that'll never happen to me again. Let's see here if we have any other questions. No other questions from YouTube. Let's switch back to Facebook here. Let's see if we have any questions on the Captain Dylan Hubbard page. Michael Servetta said, any tips on how to fish heavy current situations? Where I'm from, it takes at least 16 ounce leads to hold bottom unless it's slack tide. Wow. I would just move. Michael, I'm sorry. That was a joke. I apologize. We've had a lot of really, really bad current lately, actually, Michael. So it's ironic you say that. On the new moon, this past new moon, we had some of the worst, strongest currents in Johns Pass and offshore that I've seen in a very long time. They were using 24 ounces of weight on our 39-hour trip and still struggling to hold bottom. So we have that occasionally too. And the trick is just using bigger lead. If you're having trouble holding bottom, you can always switch up to using bigger lead. I mean, on a 39-hour trip, typically, or 12-hour extreme, or 44-hour, typically I'm fishing 6 or 8 ounces of lead, maybe 4 ounces of lead if the tide isn't running very much and I have some light line. But 6 and 8 ounces of lead are pretty common. Unless I'm using really heavy tackle, then I might use a 10-ounce lead. But on a new or a full moon in the Gulf, we have these really strong currents. So if you're going on a full moon 44-hour, if you're going on a new moon 39-hour, keep in mind it's a good idea to bring some 10, 12, or 14-ounce weights as well. And we always have them in the shop available too. You never know what you're going to need. On our 63-hour trip, we use 1, 2, 3, and 4-pound bank sinkers. So we do have some big lead in the shop. So my biggest tip for fishing heavy current situations is using bigger leads and try to avoid it. By fishing the slack tide in your area, or with us, we try to fish areas like, for example, if I know it's a new moon or a full moon, I'm not going to go fish the west side of the elbow where it's 220 foot of water, because the deeper the water, the more current I'm going to have. And if I run into some really strong current, I'm going to try to hide behind some structure. Like, for example, if I've got a really, really strong current come out of the west, I'll fish the east side of the grounds behind one of those big peaks where I know those fish are going to stack up, because it's the same idea of bridge fishing. If you've got a ripping outbound tide, the fish are going to be stacked up on the outside of the bridge, on the west side of the bridge, hiding in the lee of the current. Well, it's the same idea offshore. If you've got a ripping west current, then any ledges that you have that run north and south are going to have fish stacked up behind that ledge, hiding from that current. So just keep it in mind and play it by ear and try to use heavy weight. Trent Simmons said, are 12 hours back to 10 hours? Yes, Trent. The 12-hour party boat short red snapper trip is only during red snapper season, so they are over, done with. Hallelujah. Red snapper season is over, and we're back to 10-hour trip, hogfish hunting, mangrove snapper, and maybe a few inshore gags. So Trent Simmons, you're happy to. I'm happy to let you know we're back to the 10 hours. He really enjoys the 10-hour hogfish hunts. So yes, to answer your question, Trent, we're back. Let's see what other questions we have here. Brian Smith said, I got a keeper red grouper 10 miles out in 40 foot of water on a 5-hour half day. That's pretty lucky there, Brian. You got some good skills, buddy. Let's see what other questions we have here. Brad Dreyer said, how's the water quality this week? The water quality's been really, really good out there off our coast, but this weather is going to screw that up. The extreme current, or the extreme sea, and the heavy rains that we're going to get this week are going to really screw up the clarity of our water here locally. Down south, water quality is not so hot. Around the Fort Myers area, that Okeechobee outflow is really, really hurting the water quality down to our south. And really, really is a huge problem that needs to be addressed. Luckily, we have organizations like the Coastal Conservation Association and Captains for Clean Water working hard on trying to lobby our government for making a change to that Okeechobee problem and redirecting that flow and cleaning that water up before it outflows into the Gulf of Mexico and to the Atlantic. So definitely a huge problem we face in our fishery. Some of the red tides being caused by that outflow, that pollution that's being caused by that outflow. And then, of course, all the problems we face at the National Marine Fisheries level with the issues. But luckily, on that note, great news was the Modern Fisheries Act has passed the House of Representatives and moving on to the Senate. So that's really big news. If you don't know what the Modern Fish Act is, you should do yourself a favor and check out my here. You go to facebook.com and go to Fishermen United. Oops, not Fishbrain. Fishermen United. There you go. On the Fishermen United page, this is another page that I run. And oh, look at that. Pretty ironic. The first post is right about this problem that we were just talking about, the Okeechobee outflow. But it also has that Modern Fish Act passed the House, and now we need to urge the Senate to act. So this is an awesome opportunity for you to just simply click on a link. It tells you all about the Modern Fish Act, and all you have to do is type your name, your email, your home address, your zip code, and send a message. And this automatically will send a message. Actually, we'll go ahead and do it real quick. So I will show you how long it takes you to support our fishery and to make a change for the positive. I'm going to put the Hubbard's Marina address in here so you guys don't all see where I live. John's Pass Boardwalk. 33708. Madeira Beach, Florida. So that was as quick, as easy as it is to make a change. And all right, I'm gonna have to turn back on the webcam and put in my actual address. 92nd Avenue. And then I just said it. What an idiot. All right, now we're good to go. All right. Oh, come on, man. Prefix is required. Mr. All right. So, oops. So that's all it took. Just a matter of less than a minute, 30 seconds. Again, that's going to be on the Fishermen United page. So just simply search Fishermen United on Facebook. And once you search it, you'll see the photo of all of us holding up red snapper. And once you're on Fishermen United, scroll down to that second post about the Modern Fish Act, and you can go ahead and help us pass that Modern Fish Act, which is going to help fishery managers make changes to help the recreational angler. The Magnuson-Stevens Act, MSA, is what governs our fisheries management, and that was created back in 1976 specifically for commercial fishery and the commercial fishermen to manage the commercial fishing aspect in the commercial fishing industry. Well, nowadays the private recreational and the for-hire recreational sectors have been jammed into this little management box that was created for a commercial fishery, and it just doesn't work. And we're different fisheries with different modes, and we access the fishery differently. So a recreational fisherman is a recreational fisherman. It doesn't matter if you're on a dock, a boat, my boat, your boat, a pier, a jetty, the beach. We're all recreational fishermen, and we all need access to the fishery. We're not commercial fishermen. We're not going out there to fill the fish box and get paid based on what's in that fish box. We go out there for the opportunity to fill that fish box, or not put anything in that fish box. That's the beauty of recreational fishing, is we can catch and release. We can go out there and just catch dinner. Or if you want, you can fill the fish box if it's open and it's legal and it's big enough. So recreational fishing is awesome, and it's a huge economic driver. And going to Fishermen United page and filling out that form in less than 30 seconds, you can help make a positive change for our fishery. So go on to Fishermen United, click on that post, fill out that form, submit it, and then comment done. And I'll go ahead and give away a free 5-hour half day to one lucky person who does that. So check out Fishermen United and go ahead and do that now. You could win a free trip. So now that I got off on a total tangent, we'll get back to our question and answer session. Joe said, what happens if a trip is canceled due to weather? If we have to cancel a trip due to weather, we will go ahead and give you an email. We'll call you, and if the email and the call doesn't get you to call us back, we'll send you a text as well. And that should hopefully get you to call us back and confirm that you know the trip's canceled. At that point, you have the opportunity to reschedule with us, or you can request to be canceled off and refunded if you paid ahead of time. If you didn't pay ahead of time, we'll just cancel you off. So there's a lot of options for you, Joe, if we cancel due to weather. Let's see what other questions we have. Mohammed said, what's our shortest trip? The shortest fishing trip we offer is a 5-hour half-day party boat fishing trip. We also do 3-hour private charter trips, and you can always do a 4-hour inshore private charter trip as well. Let's see what other questions. Again, comment your questions, guys. Give the video a like if you're enjoying it. Make sure you share with your friends to help us spread the word. What's your favorite kind of bait, Jeffrey Harper said? My favorite go-to bait would be a threadfin or sardine plug. Cut the head, cut the tail, and use a double snell rig. And that works very, very well for the mangrove snapper, for a variety of different snapper species, and for grouper as well. So my go-to bait is definitely that sardine or threadfin plug with a double snell rig. Helps me catch a lot of action, catch a lot of fish. I have a lot of fun doing it, and you can catch some really quality fish as well. Greg Armstrong said, on the 39, 44, and 63-hour trips, how many are allowed to troll at one time? Well, we can have the ability to troll up to about 12 lines across the stern of the Florida Fisherman 2, which is the boat that takes our long-range 39, 44-hour, and 63-hour trips out. We have outriggers on that boat. We control 2 rods and reels on the outriggers, so 4 total lures on the outriggers, and then we can put about 8 rods across the stern. As long as everybody knows what they're doing and they're able to stagger those baits right and make a good looking spread that's not going to get tangled up, we can easily troll 12 lines. And you can put teasers out, you can put dredges out, you can put umbrella rigs out, and you can have the opportunity to really make a huge spread behind the Florida Fisherman 2. We've hooked marlin, we've boated many sailfish, we've caught plenty of wahoo, tuna, dolphin. We've caught a lot of fish trolling behind the Florida Fisherman 2. Terry Eakins said, you brine your sardines, right? Yes, I love to brine my sardines, but we use thread fins nowadays. Sardines are very difficult to find in bulk, worth any quality. The thread fins we're getting are caught locally. We support local fishermen, and those thread fins are very much higher quality and more fresh than any sardines we can find in bulk. So we use thread fins on the boat now, and all I do is I trim the head, trim the tail, and then I trim the belly a little bit to make that more sardine shaped. And the fish don't know the difference. They taste the same, I guess, because I still catch plenty of fish on them. Let's see what other questions. Oh, John Seamill said, I think you solved the audio and video problems. It's been excellent tonight. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of time, energy, and quite a bit of dollars have gone into this, but it's been really, really well worth it. And a big shout out to Josh Maloney, the man, the myth, the legend, who was the evil genius behind this crazy rig. At the end of the video, I do want to show off this computer. It's freaking amazing, but I'm not going to touch the webcam right now. It scares me. Let's see what other questions we have here. Any other questions? What days are the 10-hour trips? Marcelo Silva said. We have 10-hour all-day trips on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And then we have 5-hour half days every single day. And we have the 12, 39, 44, and 63-hour trips scheduled on our website under fishing trips. Go to specialty trip schedule and you will see all our 5, 10, or our 5-hour shark trips, 12, 39, and 44-hour trips here. The 10 hours are Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. 5-hour half days are every day. And then all our long-range specialty trips are right here on the specialty trip schedule site. And we always do the private charters upon request. Anytime, any date, the boat that you want is available. So the options are endless. At Hubbard's Marina, we're the original and longest running. We've been fishing local waters since 1928. Thanks for the shameless plug there, Marcelo. Shannon Bonick said, during the colder months, do the chances of catching gag grouper go up on the 10-hour trips closer to shore? Yes. Our 10-hour trips have a much higher chance of catching gag grouper in the fall, where the water is cooler. November, December is the best. October, you start to get a good shot. The water's got to be cool for those gag grouper to come inshore in high numbers and to get aggressive enough to bite a bait on a party boat. On a smaller private charter without a generator running, you have a really high chance of catching gag grouper almost any time of year if you know what spots to hit. Like I said before, people are catching keeper gags in the bay right now, but the months ending in ER are the best, and when the water's cooler, it gets even better. And as that water cools, those gags come inshore in greater and greater numbers, and they get more and more aggressive. So yes, during the cooler months, the chances of catching gags on a 10-hour increase greatly. We even catch them on the 5-hour occasionally. But the 10-hour is the shortest trip where we really get a good opportunity to give you a shot at some keeper grouper. But again, always a better idea to go on a specialty trip if you want to catch some monster fish. The 12-hour extreme, the 39-hour, the 44-hour full moon, the 63-hour, those long-range specialty trips are going to go so much deeper, so much further, and give you so much more fishing time. You're always going to have a better shot on those longer trips. Lee Roop said, will Tampa Bay area see the negative results of that outflow? Yes. Tampa Bay in the long runs will definitely see negative results from the Okeechobee problem because it's an estuary. Okeechobee is where a lot of life starts and a lot of fish grow up. And those outflows pouring fresh water and contaminated water into the Gulf of Mexico increase the chances for red tide. Look at the red tide we're having from Inglewood all the way up to almost Sarasota area, just south of Tampa Bay. Luckily, we're really, really blessed in Tampa Bay. Let me show you what I mean here. Google Maps, good old Google Maps. All right, let me show you. All right, so Okeechobee, for those of you who don't know, the whole Miami area, the whole southern part of Florida is an island because there is a canal with locks that comes out of the Okeechobee River and goes all the way out to the Gulf of Mexico. So you can actually get on a boat in Vero Beach, go into the canals, and go all the way through the state of Florida. I've done it a few times. It's very, very cool. Highly recommend it once they fix this problem. Wouldn't recommend it right now. But that outflow is coming up, and it's pouring fresh water and contaminated water here. So there's a huge deadly red tide in Boca Grande, Inglewood, Venice area, and it's all the way up here to Siesta Key area into Sarasota. Luckily, it hasn't made it up to Tampa Bay yet, but that outflow is going to push that red tide further and further north until it does get into Tampa Bay area. We're really blessed where we're at in Madeira Beach because everything in Tampa Bay kind of outflows and swirls to the north. So we have this natural little eddy. So even if the red tide gets up here, it kind of gets pushed over and then hits again in Clearwater, Palm Harbor area. So we're kind of blessed in Madeira Beach in that respect. But if red tide gets up here in Tampa Bay, then it just eddies and sits on top of us, while Longboat Key and Clearwater don't get it. So that eddy is good and bad, but it's good when red tide's not in Tampa Bay. When red tide's in Tampa Bay, we get screwed. So it just kind of depends. But yes, if this outflow continues, that green algae continues to bloom, it's going to make its way north. It's going to get into Tampa Bay, and it's going to really hurt us. But even if it doesn't get into Tampa Bay, it's still hurting our fishery. So definitely a big problem, Lee Roop, and I highly recommend going to Fishermen United Facebook page and checking out that post and filling out that form letter. And again, you could win a free 5-hour half day, so can't hurt. Let's see what other questions we have here. Jeffrey Harper said, what do you think about Penn reels? I really just don't like Penn reels. I don't use them, don't like them. I've had a lot of really bad customer service experiences with them. The salespeople at the shows are even a nightmare to deal with. So I don't like Penn, don't use Penn. However, the old school Penn, the Penn of 15, 20 years ago when it was made in America and it was metal, that is an awesome Penn reel. Some of those big reels behind me are some of the big Penn 6 and 9/0 Penn reels, but I prefer Daiwa. The 900H Daiwa reel is my go-to 9/0. My Daiwa Saltiga, my Daiwa Saltist, I prefer Daiwa. Shimano makes some really good reels. The Shimano Talica is a great, awesome reel, accurate, a vet, but I personally don't use Penn reels unless it's an old school American made Penn that I'm not buying from Penn, I'm buying from somebody else. But that's my personal opinion. A lot of people like Penn reels. Penn does have one of the cheapest 2-speed reels on the market. The Penn Fathom 2-speed is an awesome reel. But to me, I'm going to stick to Daiwa. What's the number one go-to trolling lure for the 39-hour? Joe asked. I would say the number one lure on the 39-hour trip would probably be a Rapala X-Rap Magnum. It's a super easy lure to troll. It doesn't really require anything fancy. It's a really cool lure. But right now, the number one trolling lure on the 39 hours is Shimano Bonita Marauder lure. Catching a lot of wahoo on it. We just came back from ICAST. I was at ICAST for 3 days, and I spent a lot of money at the Fathom Lures booth. So we're going to have a bunch of Fathom lures, Fathom Offshore lures coming into our shop. A bunch of really nice pre-rigged trolling skirts. So you're going to be able to pick it up off the wall, tie it onto your line, and be set, ready to go. So I got all pre-rigged. So it's really easy for guests, even people who haven't offshore fished or offshore trolled. It's just one tie or one knot and you're ready to rock. So that'll be really cool as well. But the Rapala X-Raps, the Marauders, the trolling skirts, those are kind of the go-to trolling lure. I always tell people on the way out on a 39 or 44, 63 hour trip, for the first 25, 30, 40 miles until you get into that blue water, use a trolling spoon, about 15 to 18 foot of 60-pound monofilament, and then a number 2 planer, and that gives you a great opportunity to catch the mackerel and the bonita to use for bait, maybe even a kingfish as well. But the mackerel and the bonita make great bait once you're offshore in deeper water. Barry Parks Jr. said, what is your favorite fish to eat? Good question, Barry. I would say my favorite fish to eat, I don't know if I could pick a favorite there, Barry, but I can give you a top 5. Scamp grouper is going to be definitely in that top 5. Barrel fish that we catch on the deep drops are really good eating. I love mahi-mahi. I really enjoy strawberry grouper or a red hind, especially the smaller ones. And mangrove snapper. Mangrove snapper and the white grunt, or what we call a gray snapper. So mangrove snapper and a white grunt or Key West grunt are probably tied for that number 5 spot. Key West grunts, or what we call the gray snapper, are so good eating. You can catch them right on the half day bottom, 6, 7, 8 miles from shore. You can catch a cooler full of them. They are awesome eating, especially when you take them next door to the restaurant, get them Cajun fried. One of my favorite eating fish for sure, and it's super easy to get. Definitely not red snapper though. I do not like red snapper. I think people way over dramatize how good red snapper is. I don't like it, but that's me. Dylan Gren said, what is the lightest tackle to be used on the 39 and 44-hour trips to troll? I would probably say I wouldn't troll anything less than about 60 pound for the leader, but most of the time 80 pound fluorocarbon is what I like to use. And oh, maybe you're talking about the reel, Dylan. I would suggest at least a 9/0 reel, or at least a 50 wide, like a large 50 wide 2-speed reel. But an 80 wide 2-speed or a 9/0 reel is going to be your best bet. I prefer something along the lines of that 80 wide 2-speed, giving you plenty of line capacity and plenty of power to reel those fish in. Because unless it's a huge game fish or a trophy fish, the boat's not going to slow down, because we're making way. We're trying to get out there and bottom fish, because 90% of the people on the boat just want to go catch bottom fish. They don't care about trolling. So we kind of have to balance people's want and need for trolling and people's need to get out there and get bottom fishing. So we don't slow down for mackerel, bonita, or decent kingfish. You got to reel those fish in while the boat's moving. So it requires a larger reel. Let's see what other questions we have. William Alexander said, post that site again. I assume you mean the site to get you a free 5-hour half-day fishing trip. You would go to facebook.com. Once you're at facebook.com, you go to Fishermen United, which is my fishing regulations advocacy group. Once at Fishermen United, scroll down to the last post I made, July 14th at 8:30, and click on that post about the Modern Fish Act. Read some information about the Modern Fish Act. If you agree with it and you agree with me, scroll down there. Oh, there's my address. Scroll down there and fill out the form letter and click submit, and it's that easy to go ahead and make your voice heard and show your support for the Modern Fisheries Act. So really cool way to get involved there. If you have a second, fill it out, and you could win a free 5-hour half day with us at Hubbard's Marina. What would be the best bait for grouper all around? Best bait for grouper all around would probably be, I would say live bait. I really enjoy fishing for grouper with some live bait, or a big dead bait like a huge thread fin with the tail cut. But a big live bait works really well. James Randall said, what's the travel time to the bottom fishing grounds? Well, we can bottom fish in 20-30 feet of water, 3 miles from the dock, so it really depends on the trip. Right on our website, when you go to fishing trips, you can click on the fishing trips page, and it tells you exactly what trip it is, how far we go, and how much fishing time you get. So on a 5-hour half day, if you get 3 hours of fishing, that's an hour ride out, hour ride back. For example, on a 10-hour trip, it's 6 to 7 hours of fishing, so it's about an hour and a half to 2-hour ride out. So it really just depends on the trip there, as far as how long of a ride or the travel time is. On a private charter, you can kind of dictate that by picking one of the faster private charter boats, and then you're going to have a really short ride out. So it just depends. Let's see. We got a bunch of questions rolling in here from YouTube. Let's see. McCallie said, I noticed you like using inline egg sinkers. Do you get hung up in the bottom a lot? No, not really. We don't get hung up in the bottom too much, but yeah, you do get hung up in the bottom more often using a fish finder rig than using a chicken rig or a rig with the sinker on the bottom and then the line coming up and hooks coming off of it. You do get hung up more using a fish finder rig, but it's more realistic, it's more natural. You're going to catch more fish using that inline egg sinker, or what I call a fish finder rig, which is your egg sinker on your main line, your swivel, and then a leader. That's going to allow you a better opportunity to catch more quality fish using that fish finder rig, because the lead is able to sit still on the bottom. The line freely moves through it, so you have a lot of sensitivity. And as soon as you feel that bite, you can set the hook and catch that fish. So it gives you a great opportunity. Sid, what are you doing, buddy? My dog is starting to get in on the mix here. I'll let you out in a little bit. All right, so next question. Get out of here, buddy. Next question. Do you guys often catch bull redfish? Because I caught one before. It was 46 pounds on your boat. That's a 46-pound redfish is huge. But we do see bull redfish occasionally on our offshore fishing trips, especially in the springtime when they go out there to spawn. We'll see those big bull redfish. We'll see huge schools of them. We'll catch a bunch of them while we're offshore fishing. It does happen quite a bit in the fall when they're out there. But no, it does not happen all year. It's not something we can go out there and target. And it's not something we would target. We only hook them by chance because they're out there to spawn. They're very weak. And we definitely, if we see that school of redfish, we'll avoid it. But occasionally they'll just swim up to the boat while we're out there bottom fishing on a half day or a 10-hour. And it's hard to avoid them because they're so hungry. All right. Next question is... Tampa Fishing Man said, going to plan a trip this fall, planning on buying a Daiwa Saltis 2-speed. What size would you recommend for using for general offshore fishing off the boat? Definitely the largest size, the 50. So a Daiwa Saltis LD50 is a great option for you. They come with about 30 pounds, 35 pounds of drag. I prefer the Daiwa Saltiga. It comes with about 40 to 45 pounds. Comes with 40 to 45 pounds of drag. The Daiwa Saltiga is a machined piece of metal. The frame is all one piece. The gears are going to be forged. It's going to be a lot stronger gears. It's going to have a heavier drag. It's also a free-floating, really super smooth reel. So I prefer the Saltiga for that reason, because it's stronger, faster, smoother. But the Saltist is a great option. Either one, Saltiga or Saltist, I'm going to go LD50 2-speed. And we do sell those in our shop, and you do get 10% off when you book a trip with us. And we have our Bull Bay Rods connection. I'm meeting up with him Wednesday to come up with a Bull Bay offshore or Bull Bay Rods Hubbard's Marina custom line of mangrove snapper, hogfish, and grouper fishing rods. We're even going to do some other special rods as well. So really exciting stuff coming into our shop here soon. And again, you get 10% off when you book a trip. And I guarantee that my prices on the Daiwa Saltist and Daiwa Saltiga will match any other prices you can find. We do even price match regular price, non-sale prices of other tackle shops. Let's see if we have any other questions. All right. I don't see any other questions. So it looks like we've got everything covered tonight. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, Bass Pro Shops, Saturday, July 28th at 2 p.m. We're going to be giving away a free 5-hour half day for 2 and a free 10-hour all day for 2. All you have to do is come out to Bass Pro Shops and join us Saturday, July 28th at 2 p.m. And then also we have these live fishing seminar Q&As every Sunday night at 8 8:30 p.m. for about an hour. We do our live fishing reports every morning, or most mornings. You can always tune into the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page, or go to the Hubbard's Marina website and go to the fishing tips page to see those. So you have a lot of options for some of our live videos, or to learn more about fishing. And we always post them to the Hubbard's Marina Fishing Tips page if you want to watch them back live. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. We'll see you down at Hubbard's Marina sometime soon for a fishing trip, or we'll see you at the Tampa Bay Fishing Club meet and greet coming up in October. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. You have a wonderful night and a happy Sunday. God bless. And I'm out.